All right. Hello, everybody. Woo! So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to one of my I'm interviewing people that I want to get to know better. It's purely selfish, but today's kind of topic is when your deck creation leaves the nest. I have Janine Worthington here. And she is the creator of Inbetween Tarot, as well as, and Franco, I have to apologize because every time I look at the box and I see Franco, I have to say ravioli. And I know that's not his name, it's Rivoli. But I'm a sad American who thinks ravioli when I see that word. So let's just quickly say hello to everybody in the chat. So Scott, Scorpio Moon, you're first in line. Jackie, Jacaranda, J to the Aki, Mel, Woolly Hermit, Nancy, hello. Let's see who else is out there. I think that's about everybody that showed up. And so Nancy and Jackie and Scott all have a blue wrench. So they are my admins, and they will throw that wrench at somebody if we need to. So I'm going to just do a little gushing first so that people can still come in. And then I'm going to officially really introduce Janine and let her kind of talk a little bit. But the deck Inbetween Tarot is amazing. The book, nice and thick. I was just going back through again, and here's what I love about this book. First of all, the Major Arcana full page pictures, which you really can get a look at, and amazing setup, like it's setting the scene, the symbology within the card, and then the in-between concept for every basic Major Arcana. The Minor Arcana, 2 to a page, a little smaller image, but still color, which I know that takes a little extra money and time and effort to make things color rather than just a black and white book. So beautiful, beautiful. The box is, I forget what they call that, a little magnetic kind of tuck box. And the back of the cards, I love how it's muted. And I feel like this doesn't take away from what's on the other side, which I just love. It's like, if you see that, it doesn't become a distraction for me. So whoever created this, I just love that imagery. And of course, reverse or not, you can't really tell. So officially, after I've gushed enough, we'll talk more. But Janine, welcome. Kind of introduce yourself however much you want to say. I know you've probably been talking a lot about yourself lately, so take it away. You're over there.
Thank you very much for having me on, first of all. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, and great to see you. And we were just having a chat, weren't we? I assumed that I knew you from a long time ago, and we think that we may have the wrong people, but it doesn't matter because it's been great to get to know you over this last 10 years, even if it wasn't you in the first instance.
This is a sliding door moment. That's what it is. Yes. This is totally a sliding door, parallel universe moment.
Yes, definitely. So yeah, I have been doing tarot for a long time. And the first tarot deck that I self-published was the Majors Only Inbetween Tarot deck. So that was, again, using like the same kind of muted colours, the dark colours on the backs of my cards. But on these ones, we had bridges instead of the snake eating its own tail. So I wanted to stick to the same kind of dark colours, which is why I asked Lo Scarabeo when we did the 78 days deck to kind of stick to a similar colour theme. Okay,
yeah.
Connect two decks. So yeah, the first deck was a little bit different because.
And Janine, you'll have to put it kind of in front of your face because there you go, right there.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I can see a different.
You can see the whole thing.
Whoa, can you see this now? Yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So this is a blown up version of one of the cards, and I kept 2 of the cards the same. So the Majors Only deck in 2013 had the card with the baby, and also the card with the Emperor and the Hierophant, which is this one that's on the box. Okay, so I wanted to keep these 2 designs the same, but the different thing about the original deck, the Majors Only one, was we took the numbers out and we had titles at the top.
Wow. So
Okay,
what does that represent, Twilight? What would that be?
okay, so this is actually my favorite card out of the deck, which is why I wanted to keep it in the next deck, the one with the full 78 cards, because this depicts the baby emerging from the womb. Okay. That is why I called it Twilight, because it's that twilight period from the High Priestess, the dark, intuitive, gathering energy stage of being in the womb, to when the baby comes out into the energy of the Empress, into the light and the nurturing energy of the world, being introduced into the world. And I was actually pregnant at the time when I designed this card. So it's very special to me. Because this is my little one in my belly waiting to be delivered, and the butterflies signal the umbilical cord, which is the transformative energy. And when you cut that umbilical cord, you're then released into the Empress energy of the world. So this.
And right now my mind is being blown because, so you guys behind the scene, I have a list of people, and Janine was on the list. And one day I thought, what is it like once you let your deck go out into the world? And we dialogued back and forth, and between the two of us, once she did because I was thinking of cutting apron strings, and then you said something about like leaving the nest. So the title, When Your Deck Creation Leaves the Nest, and now you're telling me you were pregnant when you did this. And which I even talked about, like the gestation period. In my mind, I'm thinking, what about the gestation period? And then one of the cards you kept was literally the baby, leaving the womb. And now, how old is your child? Your child would be what?
She's 9, but my eldest is 22.
So the eldest has left the nest, so to speak.
Oh yes. Oh, but no, actually, she's come back because she's just finished university, and she's next door with all her accumulated stuff and boxes, and is ready to move in with her fiance. So we've gone full circle, and she's now talking about having her own family and settling down. So yeah.
So I love parallels, and the whole deck speaks to, like, these parallels of going from one to the other and the sliding doors. So let's dive into that. So when your deck leaves the nest, and you're already talking about full circle coming back. So how has it been? And you can speak to like both the decks, but especially Inbetween Tarot. How has it been, it leaving the nest? What have you seen people, taking your baby and done maybe differently, things that may have like pissed you off, or things that, or things that, and you don't have to name names, or you know what I'm saying, or things that challenged you. I'd love to know, like, what some of that experience have been.
No, do you know what? I think that everybody takes things from the world, and they recycle things, and they put their own stamp on it, and they make it theirs. I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of time. So everything is recycled, and it's great to see things altered, changed, worked upon. I mean, so when I came back after my maternity period, and we'd self-published the Majors Only deck with the in-between concept, it was a big deal for me. I come back and there was all this, all these new things out there. So there was the before tarot, and then the after tarot, and then the vice versa tarot. And I said, wow, the tarot world has been busy.
And the new vision, which is kind of the backside. And I just saw yesterday and put it on my list, Tarot of Oppositions. Have you seen that one?
No. So we'll check that one out.
Basically, you've got a tarot card, and like it's cut in half, and the top is like the regular kind of image, and then on the bottom is like the same image, but like what you might feel reversed. Some of them tended to be a little more darker, or like the magician. The magician on the top is like this. The magician on the bottom is like this. So it's like so I put it on my wish list because, again,
so interesting. Yeah, different concepts, and people looking at the cards from different angles. So from doing that all that way back then, throwing it out there, and then going on maternity, and doing the mum thing, and I was still teaching at the time, so I was still involved in the tarot world, but head knee deep in teaching. So yeah, to see those concepts come out, and the books around them, and the cards around them, and I thought, oh, it's so interesting. Such a lot has been done since I actually put this out into the world, yeah, that was the start of, it was about 2017, I think. Marcus Katz very kindly put a word in for me with Lo Scarabeo and said, did you know that Janine did this idea back in 2013, the in-between concept? Have you heard of that? And they went, oh no, we've like contacted her, you know, with regards to doing a full 78 card deck. And of course I said, yes, please.
Please.
Oh my!
Let me immortalize myself. So I want to say a couple of comments. Wow, amazing! They're loving that.
Hi, Scott.
Yeah. Oh, so you can see a little bit. So Scott just got your deck yesterday, which I
Wow.
love. So you know, hey, if we can enable people to buy more decks, you know, I'm all for that. It's. I don't think it's a bad, you know, kind of addiction until it gets to bother your banking account.
I have a lot.
I am about somewhere just a little above maybe 120 total decks, and probably 80% are tarot and the rest. So
yeah.
I love supporting, you know, artists, creators, et cetera, Kickstarter programs, et cetera, et cetera. So, and you guys, if you have any questions, you know, for Janine, put them in like, you know, bold letters, because as you can see, I'm like this listening to her. So I would love to hear about, and for those of you who don't know about this, then you're going to need to go to her Instagram page real soon. But let's talk about the In-Between Challenge. So what was that, and how did that go? Do you have any examples?
So there, we've just come out of our Leo period, haven't we? Going into Virgo now, which is good. We can get all organised and sorted. But Leo, it was like creativity overdrive. So everyone was coming up with all these creative ideas. I just suddenly woke up this morning, one morning, and I thought, why not get everybody to do an in-between card themselves? Oh, but even better, to get them to do it with a picture of themselves, you know, so they're completely immersed in that experience. So I put a few guidelines out, put a post, and I tagged some people in the stories as well as I was going through. I tagged you. And yeah, people started coming back with their own in-between tarot cards. So they'd have the picture of themselves in the middle, and then they'd write the cards that they thought bordered their in-between state and put themselves in the in-between card, which was fantastic. I really liked yours.
So for me, it was over at Anna Maria Island in Florida, and it was a selfie, so you can kind of just see my chest up, but behind me was a long dock. Out in the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
A pier or dock. A long dock, and then way out at the end was a house, you know, or it was like a little restaurant. There was a little bar and stuff, and people were fishing. But it was long. I mean, it was like 300 yards. It was like a football field, probably 100 meters. And so I took that one, and I thought, this is the Three of Wands, which is the person at the water kind of waiting for the ship to come in. And then for me, the Four of Wands is the hoopah, the house, the marriage, and out the end of so it's like I was walking out to that house, that restaurant out of the end. So it was like, I felt like this was a kind of a neat thing. So, and then somehow I was like playing with my little image thing. I put, you know, Three of Wands on one side, Four of Wands on the other, and posted that. So you guys definitely go to her Instagram page. And it's In-Between Tarot, or is there some underscores in there?
Yeah, I'm on lots of different social media platforms, but it's always the In-Between Tarot. So if you type it in, you find it. Oh, thank you. And the highlights, they're really great, aren't they, the highlights? So I put all of the tarot competition entrants into the highlights, and it's kept all the stories and the emojis with it as well, which is really nice. And do you know what? I never even asked you what song you wanted, and I just put "Lust for Life," you know, by Iggy Pop, in there for you.
Oh,
and I didn't even. You might not have even liked that song. I thought afterwards, oh gosh, I hope he doesn't mind. But I thought it was a very good.
So you put it's in the highlights.
Yes, you're in there. A highlight as a tarot challenge. It might be maybe 5 or 6 along, because I've added to different highlights over the last.
I'm trying to open it up, see if I can find it.
Oh yeah, because it's kept your song on it. So yeah, thanks for everybody who joined in with that. It was so much fun. There you are. Yeah, and if you turn it up a little bit, you get your song as well.
Okay, because I just did a screenshot real quick. Oh my gosh. I love that song. That is perfect for it. Oh my gosh. Because
Yeah.
that was whenever I have a day off during the week, like I'll be a manager on duty on the weekend, and then I get a day off during the week. Well, Fabian and I are always like, let's go see Florida. Let's go do something. So we were out on the day, and it was like, we were on the beach that morning, and then we had lunch. So it was a perfect, and that's a perfect song. So let's see. Oh, Scott said bank account just barked at Mitch. Hey, Cheryl Ryder.
Oh, Cheryl, hi, how are you?
Yay. So, so I want to say this. I wrote down like some notes as I was looking back over. First of all, diversity in the deck,
Yeah.
amazing. Just beautiful. I'm trying to get some. Oh. So this is, and if you don't know, you can see like there it says magician and high priestess. So there's these little indentions on the side that give you where you're coming from, where you're going to. So this is in between. So this is from magician to high priestess.
Oh, what you notice is it keeps the first card name at the bottom as well. Now, when it went to the publisher, I argued against that. I did not want it because my original one had titles and it was specifically about the in-between state. So I said, if you put the magician there, for example, it makes it look like it's a standard tarot card. Okay, and the publisher said, no, just listen, hear me through. And he was great, the guy I was dealing with. He said, the reason why we're going to have that at the bottom is because it's like an index card. So if people are shuffling the cards, they still need to have a way of putting them in order. Can you imagine if that wasn't there? It would be really difficult because the tabs are on either side.
Yeah.
So when it went to the critics, there were a few people that were quite critical about that because they said, why on earth have you got an in-between concept, but then you've got the first card at the bottom? And I went, I had no choice.
Well, and I'll tell you, I'll tell you, for me, even knowing that makes it even more neat. But like, let's say I want to just not use it as in between. You know what? Boom. This is hermit.
Exactly.
This is hermit.
Yeah.
Because I read in layers. So I literally go in with, okay, traditional meaning of this card is blah, 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 blah. My intuitive hits are this. The numerology, I mean, I'm a big numerology fan. You know, the astrological implication, this is Virgo, you know. So, you know, it's like, and if you start getting into other cards where they move from like, you know, say from Libra to Aquarius, no, Libra to, what's the name? No, Libra to Aquarius. No, is it Libra to Gemini?
No, Sagittarius, aren't we?
So, but I mean, like, from the 2, 3, 4 of Swords
Yeah.
into 5, 6, 7, that would be Aquarius. So when it moves that, then it might get a little confusing. So for me, this makes me grounded, but this gives me options. This gives me options. And it's like, and again, it gives me options to read in layers. Like, okay, you know what? If I want to, you know, let me just say this: if this sits in position 1 of the Celtic cross, okay, you're the hermit right now, but you're also in a transition period between this and that, you know. So I love, and of course I love the hermit. That's my opposite because I'm a Pisces.
Pisces. So I've just gotten into the sidereal astrology. So we were talking about that in a post the other day with a load of people, and I was always into the tropical system. And now I've found out that I've moved from an Aries to a Pisces, and I'm like, how on earth do I?
Wow.
That's completely different energies, but I do have a little bit of both. So yeah, I don't know whether to follow the tropical system now or the sidereal system. It's completely blown my mind.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
That is wow. Hey, Michelle. So, and I love, again, so I'm assuming, so Franco is the artist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, how did you work with them in the creation of the images and things like that? How was that process?
Okay, so I had the middleman in Los Scarabeo, okay, and I gave all my ideas and possibly sketches as well to him to say, this is how I want the card to look, this is how I'm going to write it up in the book. And then he would converse with Franco, and Franco would put those ideas into graphic design. So I'm not a graphic designer, and he did these fantastic images based on what I asked for. And like I said, I only kept two of the ideas from the original deck the same, and I insisted on that. I wanted the one with the baby and the Emperor to the Hierophant, because they were very important concepts.
Yeah.
And I also asked for the astrology in there as well.
And it made the cover, right?
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I'll find you the original of it as well.
And also, Scott was asking, do you have a YouTube channel? I know you do.
I do, yeah. It's again, it's the Inbetween Tarot.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm Mitchell Osborn everywhere. I just make it simple.
Yeah, it works, doesn't it? Because you can't go wrong with using the same name, and you can't get lost yourself either.
So Jackie was saying, so there's been like an added planet. I don't know much. There's been like an added planet. If you're doing Western astrology versus Vedic astrology, there's a difference.
Yes.
It's a whole wormhole of craziness. And I don't know, Janine, if you do more. I don't do a lot of. I do astrology and zodiac signs. Actually, zodiac signs, as they relate to tarot. I don't get too much into the planets yet, but that's probably my 2022 goal, is to connect more with the planet energy.
So the astrology was actually my first love. I was just before tarot. So like as a kid, I would devour books on astrology.
Wow.
So signs, the planets, but also everybody's birth charts that I've ever met in my life. I know them. I know that you're a sun sign, you're this rising, you've got this moon, etc. I just devour it. So interesting. But then when I just discovered sidereal, obviously it changes everybody's birth charts. So I've just redone all my families and they're completely different. I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
My daughter's turned into a double Aquarius. My Leo daughter's turned into a Cancer, which I probably always suspected, but
wow. So I'm a Pisces. I'm March 14th. I'm a Pi baby. So 3.14. My rising is Leo. Could you guess that? And what do you think my moon is?
Okay, so what you need from the world around you. I love
that you just said that, because that makes so much sense.
I think it's either going to be like
remember what I talked about?
Virgo.
It's not Virgo, but remember what I talked about? I like that stability. It's close.
Okay, so is it Taurus?
I love numbers. Capricorn.
Capricorn, right? Okay, yeah. So that would make you real boss energy then.
Oh my God! And it's funny because like I said, I'm a true Pisces. I mean, if you open up a Pisces book, it's like, that's who I am. My degree's in theater. I'm very psychic. But then the Leo is, that's because I'd be fine just sitting in a coffee shop all day reading a book. But the moment I get excited about something like this or communication, I'm ready to get on stage. If I'm at a party and nobody is hosting it, I will jump up and take control. But if someone's doing it, I back off. And if someone starts arguing with me, I'll express my opinion. But then I'm like, I'm not going pushing that far forward. My husband is Libra Sun, Libra Rising, Gemini Moon.
Wow.
So he's all this air, which I don't have a whole lot of air in my main chart. So it's we have a lot of fun. And he's Latin, so he speaks his mind very easily.
Oh, okay. Well, my husband is, he's just changed because he's turned into an Aries. He was a Taurus a couple of days ago. But he always very philosophical, always wants to have debates on philosophy. I'm more like psychological, so yeah, some of our conversations are really funny, and we speak a lot of Spanish as well because he's from Chile, so we're often like shouting Spanish at each other across the house.
Oh wow. So my husband's Argentine. He grew up in Patagonia, South Argentina.
Fantastic. So you speak Spanish as well? Do you speak some Spanish?
No.
Okay.
I tried learning. I did very well with German in high school, but I only had like 1 year, so I didn't go any further. But I've dated mostly Latin men, and I tried learning years ago, and my husband doesn't want to teach me too much. So it is what it is. And I'm in Florida, so I should know Spanish because literally it is everywhere, and it would be very beneficial. But who knows? Maybe I'll dive into it one day.
Well, there's not a lot of Spanish spoken here, to be honest, in Bury and in Manchester. Yeah, so we are probably unusual in that respect, and we also speak Farsi in the house as well. Some Farsi because my daughter's learning it more. My 9-year-old, so her dad's Iranian, so we speak a mixture of Spanish, some Farsi and English. Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh! Wow.
it's interesting. She
I
knows all the bad words in Farsi.
and it's funny because I've never felt like I was one of those people that either did well with learning other languages or wanted to learn other languages. I don't know. It's one of I wish I'd studied it more as a kid. I don't have regrets, but it would have been nice to study more, just like playing the piano. It would be
Yeah.
nice now to be able to do that. So, what is the concept? Because in your book, there's like a page talking about like the sliding doors concept. So, and tell everybody about that movie, Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yeah, Gwyneth Paltrow. I forget the other actor, but Gwyneth Paltrow does a really good job in that film. So it's at the start of the film, she gets on the train. Okay, so the doors open, she gets on the train. In the next clip, she misses it. The doors close and she doesn't get onto the train. And it shows how her life goes off into 2 parallel dimensions. Okay, if she had done one thing, she would have met this person. If she had done the other thing, she wouldn't have stayed in this relationship. So really interesting how your life takes different twists and turns depending on the choices that you make. Okay, so I really wanted to kind of weave that into those in-between stages because they're very, you could go back or you could go forward or you could stay in that in-between place. You may never move at all. So it's just that grey area, and there is so many in our lives where we choose to take the step or we don't take the step or we stay still, and yeah. What's interesting is how people are using that concept. So when I do my cusp period readings, so I say on my Instagram, we're moving from Leo into Virgo. Okay, this is the in-between card for the cusp period. And then I'll put a card on either side. So these are the energies that we're moving away from. Okay, and this is the energy where we currently are in the cusp, using the tropical system, obviously. And I use them like that, but people have used them in different ways. So interesting to see. So I saw a lady the other day, what the Pisces actually, and she had the reversals. So if you use the reversals with the in-between tarot, it sends you back. Okay, so you say you flip that. This is the one from the Majors Only, by the way. I was going to show you that because this is the original version of this card. I'll get back on topic in a second, I promise.
No, this is. Did you saw my face? I'm like, because I don't read reversal, so it didn't dawn on me.
Oh, wow. So that's the original version of it. But yeah, if you flip that, okay, that will take you from the. Oh gosh, I have to look at it. This will send you back from the Hierophant to the Emperor. Okay, so you'll start to move backwards through the energies. Okay, wow. And there's one thing clear in the book that I don't tend to use reversals. And if you try to use reversals with the in-between concept, it's like a really odd effect. Yeah, sending you backwards. So yeah,
It's a mind FUCK right now. It's like, oh my gosh. Because I didn't think about that, but like, it's so funny. I keep pulling the Queen of Cups. I keep pulling the Queen of Cups, and yeah, if you turn it upside down, you're going back to the Knight.
And maybe you could think about it in terms of lessons that we still need to learn. So I'm a big believer in we go through lots of different lifetimes, reliving lessons in a search for perfection. That actually terrifies me, but I'm interested in it at the same time. Yeah. The fact that there may never be an end, a full stop. For somebody who has put this concept out into the world, I should be more like in tune with it, but it does terrify me, that there's possibly never going to be an end. But anyway, I digress again. So yeah, where was I? What was I thinking? The cyclic energy of the cards, yes. So you don't reach a full stop. So even if you were going backwards, you know, to the Fool, you'll go back to the World again. You know, it's the cyclic energy of those majors. It's not just one big long line. Same with the minors. So in keeping with the elements, the air, earth, fire, and water, you get to the 10, and then you go back round to the ace again. So the 10 of swords, you know how bad that can be, even though if you flip it, all the swords will fall out of the Rider-Waite versions back. But when things get to their possibly worst point, you skip back round to the ace of swords again. A clear slate, you know, but you have to learn lessons. And that's something.
One of the things that I learned, and it was a huge aha moment, and it was I don't know if I think they were a big time like astrologer, but I think they also did a lot of numerology. But what they said was, you know, when you get to the 10 in a numerology, it's a 1. All right. So it's like you start over again. But the lesson I got from that person was, yes, it's a 10 numerology. It's a 1. So you're starting over again, but you've changed. You're different because you've already been through the cycle. Even though it's a 1, it's not like you're having to repeat the same thing. It's like graduating high school as a 10. And what do you do next? You go off to college. But you're not a child again. You're an adult starting another educational system with all the education that you learned previously. You're taking it with you. And it was a really powerful concept because it was like, oh, you're going back again. And like, no, but you're changed. You're different.
Yeah. Oh, like in computer games, congratulations, you're now on level 2.
Exactly. And I tell you, when I really, really got into like numerology heavy, the 5s in the tarot deck just started making a whole lot more sense of like, hey, you're at the tipping point. And I tell you, for numerology, the best lesson I ever got was in a picture from Mary Kay Greer's book, 21 Ways to Read a Tarot. Do you have it?
I have that one, yeah.
Do you know the picture I'm talking about?
Yes.
It's the little person, you know, getting in the bed, and it's like, 1, I've got an idea. 2, I'm going to make a decision. 3, I'm working up the path. 4, I'm taking a break. And it's a pencil drawing. It's a stick figure drawing, but when she gave me permission gazillion years ago to teach from that book, and every time I do, I say, memorize this image. Go buy the book so you give props back to Mary, but this image will help you in a nutshell. Because and I love like the 5, the person's, you know, kind of, or the 6, they're hanging off going down the other side. Anyway, but yeah, it's a beautiful image with the numbers. Beautiful.
Fantastic. And so many different ways that you can use the cards as well. It's just, and it's fantastic being in that tarot and astrological community because everybody supports each other, and everybody promotes each other's card decks. You know, it's just lovely. It's a really good environment. I'm so glad that I got back in there because I had quite a bit of time away from it. So
everybody's really having a hard time with the whole astrological changes. You dropped the bombshell on people today. So I want to talk about the bridge concept. So, and because in the first deck, it was the bridge that made the connection, right? Is that?
Yes. Yeah.
And then.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So what is the bridge concept with this deck or the previous deck?
Okay. So it's a specific spread that you can use. So you've got this the things that you are aware of that will go over the bridge, and then you've got the subconscious, the unconscious level at the bottom. You have the things that you are not aware of, and you move through card to card to get from one side of the bridge to the other. Yes, thank you. So practical steps that you can take, okay? So things that you're aware of, things that you can make a difference with, and then the emotional undercurrents as well. So, and it's shaped like a bridge, which is easy to remember. So it's a specific spread that you can use. And the good thing is you can use those cards and it turns the cards into a 3-in-1. So if you use a spread with all those cards, it makes it huge. Because that, like you pointed out before, you've got 3 cards in one card. So if you're doing things for other people, it can make it quite complex. And some people that are using it like to have I think this again depends on what kind of sign they are as well. They need to be very specific. So if they have the 2 to the 3 of wands, they need to have the ace to the 2 of wands on the other side, and they need to have the 3 to the 4 of wands on the other side, because it has to be like dominoes. It needs to connect.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense, and it creates the journey. Other people will use different in-between cards next to each other, you know. So different energies, and maybe you can. I've seen somebody use one from the courts, which are also cyclic. So you've got the page to the king and back to the page again, and then one from the minors. So ace to the 10, back to the ace again, and then one from the majors, fool to the world and back to the fool again, you know, 4 different energies. So there are so many different ways that you can work with them. I like to use them with other cards as well. So yeah.
And then I wrote down removing borders. So was that because the deck does not have quote unquote borders? Is that what that was about in the?
Oh, so that wasn't literally, although people do clip the borders off the cards, and I've seen somebody do a whole YouTube video with my cards as well, and I was all right about that. I'm quite laid back. So
you've probably been happy if they cut the bottom off too, right?
So these ones, yeah, the original Majors one had the borders with it, but this one that Los Scarabaeo's done, fantastic. They didn't have the borders, so a different look to the cards. But what I meant by removing the borders was by stepping into that energy. So you can actually meditate with those cards as well, as you can with any other tarot card, and you can concentrate on moving into that liminal space. You know, and how does that affect you when you've got one card concept on one side and one card concept on the other? What is that connecting space all about? And when you do that, you get to know the cards really intimately, because you are using your own intuition to walk and enter into the cards. So that's what I meant when I meant about removing the borders, you know, imagining that there are no borders to these cards. You can step through all the cards.
Yeah. So I guess Nancy just went and bought your deck. So is the best place to go? Is the best place to go like Amazon.com or Amazon? Is that okay?
Oh, you can use Amazon. I'm always a big believer in supporting like local as well. So if you know any local stores online, you know that do have the deck, you can get it from there as well.
If you're in the States, the Hermit's Lamp, which is Andrew McGregor, is a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's in Toronto, so it's Canada. And then also, what's not the Secret Garden, the Tarot Garden is another group. I can't remember the owners, but they're always at the Reader Studios. Those are 2 places that you can order from. But again, you're like me, it's like the local ones. And I can't remember where I got yours from. I think I got it from once a year, I usually go on a little road trip and just visit little random bookstores around Central Florida. And I think I picked it up at one of the small ones. Where was it? Oh my gosh, DeLand.
Oh, when I see it in a shop, you know, and I go in, like, I turn into like a little giggly girl again. I'm like, oh my God, that's my deck. And then the person behind the counter is like, that's not your deck. It's not your, didn't this. And I went, no, I did, that's me.
That's funny. So you said something I want to ask you. So are you someone who has trimmed decks? Are you a deck trimmer or not?
No, and I do polls on my Instagram to ask people whether they do these things or not, and I'm one of the ones that doesn't cut the borders off cards.
Me neither.
I don't think I could do it because I'd feel the card's pain. I'd be going, I'm so sorry. It's the Pisces then.
I totally understand why people do it. I'm a Pisces, and a Pisces is basically water, and water likes to have support. This is a border for this liquid. That's my theory of why I like borders, because it gives me some structure, and I like structure because if I take this water and I pour it on the ground, no structure, no borders, it's going to evaporate. So for me, borders equates a preference to keep me stable and calm and not evaporating or getting too thin. How's that for an explanation?
So that's why you specifically asked about removing the borders. Then you were probably like, no.
Yeah. and borders I don't remove. People who do it, go for it. I love it. There's, you do you. And then I'm round cards. Oh no, I don't know what it is about a round card. Once
Oh,
again, yeah, I
interesting.
don't own a single. I don't
Have you
own a
seen
single.
the Mother Piece tarot?
I don't
Which
have it. It is amazing.
Yeah.
But nope, not because
Oh,
of that. I never felt drawn to it. But it's a beautiful deck. I think, I know who I can't think of who the person is who created it. I've met them several times in Reader Studio.
okay. It's she's called Karen, and I hope I'm pronouncing her second name right. Vogel.
Probably
Karen Vogel.
Fogel. It's
Yeah.
probably, if you said it in German, it'd be Fogel, like with an F.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yes, she did the Mother Piece tarot.
So Veronica June she put 3 scissors and a little devil. So she's a trimmer. So Janine, okay, so Nancy said, Janine, is there a place other than Amazon where your deck may be purchased? And like I said, Nancy, if you Google Tarot Garden or the Hermit's Lamp, those are 2 places. And Nancy, I know you're in the States, so those 2 you might be able to get pretty easily. I'm trying to think of another online one, but if you have trouble, Nancy, finding those and they don't have it, let me know. I can find them for you pretty easily.
Yeah. And of course, if you're always stuck, you can use Amazon. But I understand people like to support locally as well. So yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Also, Veronica's stubbing her nose at me. She's like, round decks rock. Well, Veronica, I know you, right? Aren't you Central Florida with me? If you're the same Veronica I know, then I know why you love all that stuff, because I know your personality. And your personality is different than mine for sure. Oh, I'm a rule follower. If in business, there's a new thing called the tendencies, and you figure out what tendency. There's 4 tendencies. There's the rebel, there's the upholder, there's the obliger, and there's the questioner. I am an upholder. If you tell me the rules, I'm following the rules.
Really? No, my husband follows all the rules and I like to break them. I can't think of anything worse than following rules.
Well, you're probably a rebel.
I think I lean more to the Aries side than to the Pisces side, to be honest.
So when we're done, Google like the 4 tendencies test and do that. Mm-hmm. It's not a very long test. You can get it done in like 5 or 10 minutes.
I know what I'm going to be. It won't be a rule follower, definitely not. So you asked me to prepare for leaving the deck, and I am good actually. I do a lot of prep for what the things that people ask me. So I wrote a load of notes, and I was looking at how people use the cards.
Yeah.
And I've said a few of them. Hood Buddha, who is Milady's, she did an interview with me the other day. She's so fantastic, lovely lady. And she said that she uses them specifically if anybody has any questions about children and parenting. Because in the coins, in the court cards, you've got the woman who is pregnant, and then afterwards she's had her baby and she's holding her baby while she's working. So she uses the cards for anything to do with children and parenting, which is interesting. So I've not heard that before. And other people are using it as well for magic and ritual. So I don't know if you've heard of Terapias Metaversi. He's called Miguel, and he uses it specifically for how to escape difficult situations and how to move forward from those situations. But he will do it in like a magical, like a ritual, which is really quite special and very personal. And
almost like a tarot spell casting, or yeah. Or intentional, maybe a little more intentional tarot too. Intentional tarot spell casting, almost. That is really neat because it's not just a card. It's a card where you came from and where you're going. It's like there's movement no matter what. And if you're having a true hangman moment, you're stuck or whatever, maybe this is a really cool tool to get you moving again. Oh, I like that idea.
Yeah, definitely. So people are using it for all kinds of different things, and not just tarot reading. So magic, ritual, meditation. So it kind of spans a lot of different concepts. And so you originally asked me, how did I feel about that? You know, when I put that out into the world, I mean, for me, that's amazing, because I'm all about, you know, people putting their own stamp on things and using their own intuition to work with things. So if people are using it for different purposes, other than specifically tarot, then that's fantastic. That's exactly what I wanted for it. So I'm pleased as punch.
Well, and you know, in my non-parental mind, I have no children other than furry ones, but you know, I often think what it might be like for a parent to say goodbye to their kid going off to college. But as you're saying this, I'm realizing a parent, if they've brought their child up, taught them to think for themselves, to feel confident, you know, instilled in them, you know, qualities of self-esteem and maturity and all that kind of stuff, then when they go off to college or wherever they go off to, leave the nest, I'm sure there's a little bitterness or a little sadness of their leaving, but also there's probably a little bit of that, you know what, I did well. I know they're going to make good choices. So for you, sending the deck out, you probably feel so comfortable because you created it, and you taught it, you instilled in it, you fed it,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe it's not so terrifying when you're seeing someone, you know, doing it in a different way. It's all of a sudden, like, I can imagine, like, your child grows up thinking, I'm going to go to be a nurse after college, and they come back after 1 year and they're like, you know what, nursing's not for me, I'm going to be a philosopher. And you're like, all right, I trust you.
So to get all of this out of a dream, because it did come from a dream, back in, I think it was 2012, because 2013 was when we actually released it. My dad was the artist on the first one, by the way.
Cool.
So that to get all of this out of a dream, how powerful are dreams then?
Wow.
To dream something, wake up, start writing down some notes, and then create a whole concept out of it, then fantastic. We need to dream more.
Yes. So as we're kind of coming to the end, anybody in the chat, if you have any questions, start posting them now. But, you know, as we start coming in, I would love to know, and I have a feeling there might be something, but what's next? What's next for you?
I'm creating an oracle deck at the moment.
What?
The oracle deck of bridges. Now, this is a bit of a lighter feel than the Inbetween Tarot. I wanted something to be very easy to use, like at the start of your day. There are 40 cards, and they're split into 4 different packs. So there is an emotion pack, blue, spirit pack, purple, mind pack, yellow, and a body card, brown. Okay, and so you could dip into any of these packs to see what you need for your day, or you could shuffle them all together and do a little spread for what you need from your day, however you want to use them. So it could be that you need to pay attention to your dreams, which would be a purple spirit card, or you need to pay attention to nutrition, which is like the brown body card, or you need to pay attention to how assertive you're being, which is one of the yellow mind cards. So I wanted to create an oracle deck. It's something that I've not.
Mind, body, spirit. What's the fourth?
And emotions.
Emotions. Yes. Okay. Oh,
so not specifically linked to the elements, you know, the air, fire, and water. Just a little bit of a different take on it. And actually, I put a lot of Reiki. So I'm a Reiki practitioner. I've recently done my Reiki 2 course. I'm fascinated with Reiki and the chakras and energy. So there are chakra cards in there as well.
Cool.
Yeah, there are different concepts in there, and it strays away from tarot slightly. So it's a bit of a different thing from me than people are used to. And this will be my 3rd tarot deck. So
wow.
My 3rd deck of cards. I'm going to have to get take my tarot head off and put my oracle card head on.
So is this going to be through Lo Scarabeo? Are you doing your own? Where's it coming out of? And when might we expect it? Or are we already seeing images and I missed that?
I'm putting images up on my Instagram every week, like little snapshots. But we may be self-publishing. We may not. There are talks underway at the moment, so I'm deciding which way to go with it. I did a post on it not that long ago. The difference between publishing and self-publishing. If you self-publish, you get a lot more control over your product. If you publish, a lot of it's taken out of your hands and they own the product. So I'm thinking about that, giving it a lot of thought at the moment, and it should be somewhere towards the end of the year. Yes, that one's called Balance, and the blue indicates that it's one of our emotion cards.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. And it's got Seiki on the back of the board, which is one of the Reiki symbols that's used in healing. Yeah. And that one is called, oh my gosh, I
can look at it.
Adventure or Experience.
Adventure. Called Adventure,
yes, yeah. It's got the Chakra symbol on the back as well, so it's linked in with Reiki, this deck, more than the traditional tarot, so it's very different. Yeah,
beautiful,
exciting. Yes.
And the artist is,
that's my dad again, so I'm working again with David Worthington, who's my dad. So I've come full cycle, working with Franco and Lo Scarabeo. I'm working again with my family, which is great.
Cool.
And I'm presenting at the UK Tarot Conference in London in October. I don't think I'm going to have the cards with me at that point, but I will be talking about it there. And also the court cards transitions, that's going to be the subject of my talk.
Oh, beautiful. So from the in-between court card transitions, is that what your talk's about?
That's what I'm going to talk about. So I'll be on the stage, everybody will be sat down. I think I might have people sat on their elemental table. So you'll be sat on the water table with your Pisces. And I will be getting you to work through the water court cards if you're at the conference. How you transition in your life from the page to the knight, to the queen, to the king. How do you think you will transition back around to the page again? So I'm going to get people really thinking about it and how they can apply to their own life. Again, getting them to do the in-between cards themselves.
Cool. So, question, Cheryl said, are you going to do a Kickstarter if you self-publish?
It's possible, yes. Okay. I've never done a Kickstarter before, so I need to look into that more. But like I said, I don't know which way I'm going to go with it yet. So over the next couple of months, I'll have more of an idea. But that is a good idea, yeah, thank you.
Cool.
I've got to my paper to come back from London as well, because I'm getting a paper published on tarot and counselling, which I'm going to turn into a book. So that should be coming through soon.
Oh,
so I'm busy.
You're very busy. Well, first of all, thank you for taking time out today. Everybody's saying, brilliant. Thank you for doing this. I'm glad that you were able to take time out. I'm glad that we cleared up that we think we know each other in a parallel universe.
We know.
We do now. And I tell you, the UK Tarot Conference is on my radar because I feel like I could probably get a direct flight out of Orlando to London and get there. Not this year, but in the future. Yeah, not this year. It's still just, I'm in Florida and we're just off the charts with COVID cases and we're supposed to. My husband and I are supposed to go to Hawaii in September, but we're probably going to cancel that because Hawaii may shut back down again, and we're sitting on pins and needles waiting. We're actually supposed to be going on a Baltic cruise in September, but that got canceled. So once all this gets taken care of, that's on my radar to get over to that, because I feel like I could get in. Is it close to like London? Is it in London or near London?
It's right smack bang in the middle of London.
Okay.
So you've got all the London sites that you can go and explore if you've never been to London before. And if I'm there at the same time, I can show you around.
Yeah, so because here's my thought. So I can fly right into either Heathrow or Gatwick and probably get there real quick, easily?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Because the scary thing would be to fly in and then have to get a car and do something like drive 4 or 5 hours to get somewhere. It was one of the reasons why I never got to Stansted years ago, because I was just still so new at driving, and when I was going to go there and study the mediumship and all that kind of stuff. But it was, the traveling, it scared me a little bit. It was funny because now doing my husband's made me travel so much now. So
you can get on the train and then you can get on the underground. So the underground is part of people's experience, when they go to London, because Yeah, the London Underground is just something else. It's
Oh, I can't.
yeah.
And of course, I got enough people and friends. Know I know you there. I know Simon somewhere in England. I can't remember where he actually lives. But Richie, who you had a conversation with, who has the same last name as me. Somehow we're probably related. Um,
Yeah.
so let's see. So Scott said, "You are amazing, Janine. Thank you for sharing your talents. Loving the deck. Hit the and they're saying hit the thumbs up button on go like Janine's YouTube page and her Instagram. And yeah, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Any final comments, thoughts? Do you want to direct them to Instagram, YouTube? We already kind of mentioned those, but it's in between tarot everywhere.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm on Twitter, most active on Instagram. I am on Facebook. I'm on YouTube as well, and it's the Inbetween Tarot for everything. If anybody is in the UK who's on, I'm going to be at the Soul Fest next week, and the bank holiday weekend. I'm going to be in the Healing Fields reading tarot. So if you are there, or if you want to come stop by my tent. I'll make you a cup of tea. We'll have a chat, and I'll pull some cards for you. I'm very
Ooh,
excited about that.
fancy. You'll make him a cup of tea. I love it.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, all right. Well, again, Janine and everybody, thank you for being here. And again, one of the best ways to support anybody in social media is thumbs up, like, share, follow, retweet, reshare, all that good stuff out there. And we'll look forward to seeing you. I'll be back here next Saturday at 9:30 a.m. most likely with a lesson. I've got a couple people that I'm lining up when I'm going to bring them on as well, but more of that later. So again, Janine, thank you.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, bye-bye.